Hello everyone, what is going on? Welcome to Touchdowns to Home Runs. I am so glad you're here for this episode. I'm your host Noah, and today we got college game day predictions. College game day is probably my favorite pregame show out of every league. I just love college football, and every Saturday morning I wake up at like 8 o'clock, even though I could sleep in for longer, and I just get ready to watch college game day. That gets me ready for college football. I just love this show so much, so I had to do these predictions on where they are going this season. Just before I get started on this, I just want to say thank you to all of our current subscribers. Your support does not go unnoticed. We really appreciate it. We just passed 650 today, so thank you for that. Let's keep going, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, especially if you love college football. We make some of the best sports content in general on YouTube, and we promise to not let you down, and we make a lot of college football stuff especially. So if you love college football and you want the college football season to happen this year, because of the coronavirus, it's up in the air right now, but to lock it in that we will have college football this season with fans in the stadium, go drop a like and a sub right now. So what do you say we get into this? Now I just want to throw something up there before I actually start. I didn't throw in any of the FCS games in here. I know that they usually go to one of those every season. I just don't have the knowledge to do that. I basically only watch the FBS, so I threw that out here. This is just if they're doing all FBS for every week, this is who I'd pick. So, week 0, this is the only one that has already been determined. We have Notre Dame versus Navy in Dublin, Ireland. This is amazing that they're going over to Ireland. I love the idea of the game going over there, and that game day following them too. They're going to have so much fun over there. I know that it's going to be an electric atmosphere to have the Fighting Irish in Ireland. That's just going to be a good experience. Cool for college football to do. I love the idea. So that's already determined, so there is no other option there because it's already determined. Now moving on to week 1, we got the neutral site game between USC and Alabama in Arlington, Texas. This game is definitely looking like the best game in that whole first week. You got two classic teams, two blue bloods of college football going up against each other, and it's Alabama. You love to see it, and I'm guessing if it's in Arlington, it has to be an AT&T Stadium. So that's a great matchup for week 1, and I am almost 99% sure that college game day will be attending for that game. Week 2, we got another very easy one. We got Ohio State at Oregon. Although LSU Texas is also this week, they went there last year, and that game won't be as big as a game as it was last year, especially not over Ohio State and Oregon. These are going to be two top 5 teams at the time I'm predicting going at it. It's going to be such a good game in Oregon. I'm gonna love it. The fans are gonna be crazy. They're gonna go back to Oregon. Oregon has such a good fan base, and they'll really fit the picture, especially for this college game day. That is definitely, if I had to pick one game day or a couple of game days that you have to watch, that definitely has to be one of them, the Ohio State and Oregon one. Week 3, I got another no-brainer for me. Georgia at Alabama, the usual SEC championship in the regular season. I cannot wait for this game. It's in Tuscaloosa. That's going to be such a good game. I can't wait to watch that one. There really wasn't any others this week that stood out to me, especially not when you have the two big dogs in the SEC going at it like this. You have to attend that if you're game day. The Alabama fans are going to be electric that day, so definitely keep on a lookout for that. Now moving on to week 4, we got Florida at Tennessee, and we have our first contender of Arizona State at USC. Florida at Tennessee would be my prediction, just because this is such a good rivalry in the SEC, and especially if Tennessee starts off really strong. I don't think game day's been to Tennessee in a while, so Tennessee has been begging for a game day. They need a game day down there. I've actually been in Neyland Stadium before. Absolutely amazing atmosphere there, although I'm not a huge fan of the team. As you can see, I am a Gamecocks fan. I'm not a big fan of the team at all, but their fan base is really, they know how, the atmosphere there is amazing, so they definitely got to bring game day there. But then also a contender in Arizona State and USC, two very good teams. Pac-12 game, that will be a game that will be big for that conference in deciding that. But I just see more of game day leaning more towards Tennessee, because game day would have already gone to see USC play. Plus, Tennessee, they haven't been there in a while. So my prediction is Florida at Tennessee. Week 5, we have Penn State at Michigan and a contender of Notre Dame versus Wisconsin. Penn State versus Michigan, obviously a huge game in deciding that division in the Big Ten. Obviously, Ohio State's still in there, but that is still a huge game. It'll be in the Big House, so that's definitely the biggest game that will be played there all season. And I think that game day needs to go to Michigan. Again, such a great atmosphere there. But then also our contender of Notre Dame versus Wisconsin. A very good game too. A good Big Ten team versus an independent Notre Dame. But it's in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So it'll be at Lambeau Field. That will be very interesting. I think this one could go 50-50 because I know Game Day likes to lean towards these like special games, like especially a game played at Lambeau. But I still think that Penn State Michigan is a much better game and a game that they should choose over Notre Dame Wisconsin. Week 6, I have LSU at Florida with contenders of Texas versus Oklahoma. That is in Dallas, Texas. LSU versus Florida. It was a big game last year. Game Day went there last year. And I think Game Day should go back to this game because it's in Gainesville. Gainesville was such a good atmosphere for the Auburn game last year when Game Day went there. And that's going to be a huge game. Both of these teams, it's going to be a lot closer of a game this year, I predict. I have Florida as getting a lot better. And LSU, I know they just won the Natty and everything, but you gotta look at the talent that they just lost. The talent that they just lost are some like decade-like talent, so it's gonna be hard to replace that. So I think this will be a more evenly matched matchup. And then also Texas Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. It's a classic. I just don't see Texas as being that huge team. As well as Oklahoma, I don't have Oklahoma being as good as they were last year. So this will be, of course, a good game, but I don't think it will have that hype level to get Game Day. And then there are also a few other games on that day, such as Auburn at Georgia or Stanford at Notre Dame. But I think LSU at Florida is the one that really stands out here. Now moving on to Week 7, I got Michigan at Minnesota for the Game Day in Week 7 with a challenge or a contender of Ohio State at Michigan State. Minnesota, they loved going to Minnesota last year. I absolutely loved the environment last year when I went to Minnesota. Tanner Morgan and Rashad Bateman are looking really good this year. That whole Minnesota team is looking to come back as a strong team this year and play against a very good Michigan team in Minnesota. I'd love to see that game. I'm probably going to watch it. And I'd love to see Game Day go back to Minnesota. But for my contender, Ohio State at Michigan State, if they could be a good team this year, if they could shock some people, I wouldn't be surprised if Game Day goes here, especially that a big team such as Ohio State's coming in. But if I had to put money on it, I'd definitely put Michigan at Minnesota as my favorite. Week 8, this is a no-brainer for me. We got Ohio State at Penn State. I'm guessing, I'm almost 100% sure that will be the whiteout game. That is an atmosphere that you just cannot pass up if you're College Game Day. I don't know what universe we'd be living in if College Game Day picked anywhere else other than a whiteout at Penn State to go for a game day. It's such an amazing experience. I haven't been there. I want to go so bad, but that atmosphere and everything is like no other. The fans there. So College Game Day, that is a must-go-to game for them. No other contenders. Week 9, I have another no-brainer. Florida versus Georgia in Jacksonville, Florida. This is a classic rivalry. I'm a South Carolina fan. These are probably two of 3 of my least favorite teams in the SEC. But I love watching this game every year. It's a huge game for the division. And just those are two teams that make the SEC what it is. And I love how the stadium's split up in between two fans. That's such a good atmosphere when you have two fan bases in the same place, especially for Game Day when they all have to be crowded up around the stage and everything, all the signs and everything. That is going to be an absolutely amazing experience. So they're definitely going to be going to Florida versus Georgia. Week 10, this one I want to say is a no-brainer, but I have heard from other people that it won't be. In my opinion, it has to be Alabama versus LSU. You have to go to the defending national champion stadium if you're Game Day at least once. And this is such a big game. This has been the biggest game of the last 2 years. Although 2 years ago. The game didn't turn out that well. It was still such a hyped game. That it's going to be the same this year. LSU won the last time, and now they're coming back home to play Alabama at Death Valley. That atmosphere is going to be absolutely insane. In my opinion, it's a no-brainer to go there, but I also put down as a contender Clemson at Notre Dame. I can't really see this happening over Alabama, but again, people have said that this could be the game day game, but in my opinion, it has to be Alabama versus LSU. Week 11, I have West Virginia at Oklahoma State as my favorite because I feel like Game Day is really going to try to go to Stillwater this year, especially with their team this year. They're looking really good, especially a guy named Chuba Hubbard. If he's having a Heisman season, I can see this being a high probability of them going to Stillwater. But as a contender, I also put Nebraska versus Iowa. These are two good teams. Kinnick Stadium is a great place to go. I love the wave that they do there, and you can never go wrong with going to Iowa. So Iowa, Nebraska is a good contender, but West Virginia versus Oklahoma State is who I'd pick. Week 12, I got the group of 5 game. You got Cincinnati at UCF. This group of 5 game are two of the better teams in the group of 5 in total. Last year we had it at SMU at Memphis for the group of 5 game day game, I'm pretty sure. But this is what it should be this year. It fits in because this is probably the best game that you get all of that week in week 12. So that's going to be a huge game in determining who makes the New Year's Six Bowl, who makes the AAC championship. So game day is probably going to go there. Next up, week 13, I got rivalry week. My guess for this is that it's going to be Michigan and Ohio State. I have Michigan probably as a 1-loss team or maybe 2-loss team at this point, and I have Ohio State going undefeated. So that's going to be a big game, especially for the Big Ten. And they haven't been Ohio State yet this year, according to my predictions. So they're definitely going to want to go there because they're one of the better teams this year. And then as a contender, I have South Carolina as Clemson. It wouldn't be a list that I would have made if I didn't throw in South Carolina somewhere. Who knows? Clemson's going to be a good team this year. I hate saying it because I'm a huge fan and I do not like Clemson at all. But maybe at the Gamecocks, I know we got a bunch of talent coming in. Jordan Burch, Marshawn Lloyd. My guy Ryan Helinski is going to put up big numbers this year. We got the big quarters, Israel McQuamu, JC Horde. This team is legit. Just you wait, guys. The Gamecocks will be a good team this year. And who knows, if they really do show up, we could see game day going to Clemson for a rebirth of the Palmetto State Championship. That whole rivalry getting regenerated if South Carolina can turn it around. But again, if I had to put money on it, Michigan at Ohio State would be my favorite. Next, week 15, the only game this week, but they always go here, the Navy versus Army game. This is a great game. I love how they do the atmosphere there. It's amazing. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the game day always goes here, and I don't see anything changing this year. So, week 15, Navy versus Army. Now, last, I also threw in a conference championship game day prediction, and of course I had to put the SEC, by far the best conference, and they have the best conference championship games all the time. You're gonna have 2 top 4, 2 top 5 teams in that game, definitely. So they're definitely gonna be going to Atlanta, Georgia for that game. So those are my predictions, guys. I hope you liked this video. I put a lot of work and effort into it, so definitely go hit that like button and that subscribe button. Comment any other games that you think that game day should go to, any games that I missed or didn't mention, or any game that tell me the game that you guys are most excited for this season, because I know that there are a lot of good college football games this season. And let's just hope and pray that we get college football with fans in the stands this season because of the whole coronavirus. But yeah, thank you guys for joining, and come back next time.